In the heart of Warsaw, Poland, a young girl named Maria Sklodowska lived in a house filled with resilience and struggle. Born into a family that had endured the loss of property due to patriotic involvement, Maria's early life was marked by hardship and resilience. Driven by a thirst for knowledge, Maria embarked on a path paved with obstacles and sacrifices. Facing bitter cold and hunger, she pursued her studies with unwavering dedication, sacrificing her comfort for the pursuit of scientific truth. Through relentless experimentation and perseverance, the Curies made groundbreaking discoveries that reshaped the field of nuclear physics and chemistry. Despite accolades and recognition, Marie Curie remained dedicated to the service of humanity, refusing personal gains in the pursuit of knowledge that could benefit all. Marie Curie's dedication to the well-being of humanity continued until her untimely demise, a sacrifice to the field of science that she had shaped so profoundly. Marie Curie, then named Maria Sklodowska, was born in Warsaw, Poland on November 7, 1967, the daughter of a secondary school teacher. On both her father and mother sides, the family had lost their property and fortunes through patriotic involvements in Polish national uprisings aimed at restoring Poland's independence. Due to this, Maria and her siblings had to work hard and struggle to progress in life. To supplement their income, her family lodged boys into their house. This decision would lead to Maria's oldest sibling, Zofia, dying of typhus contracted from a boarder. And 3 years later, when Maria was just 10 years old, her mother died of tuberculosis. Her death caused Maria to give up on her mother's religion of Catholicism and become agnostic. She received a general education in local schools and some scientific training from her father. She became involved in a students' revolutionary organization and found it prudent to leave Warsaw. Then, in the part of Poland dominated by Russia, for Krakow, which at that time was under Austrian rule. At the age of 18, she took a post as governess, when she suffered an unhappy love affair. From her earnings, she was able to finance her sister Bronislawa's medical studies in Paris, with the understanding that Bronislawa would in turn later help her to get an education. In late 1891, she left Poland for France and enrolled in the University of Paris, also known as the Sorbonne. There, she studied physics, chemistry, and mathematics. Marie briefly found shelter with her sister and brother-in-law before renting a garret closer to the university. She apparently kept herself warm during cold winters by wearing all the clothes she had and spending her evenings at the heated libraries rather than her home. It was said that she studied so hard that sometimes she would forget to eat and collapse. She earned her license in physics in 1893, and in 1894, she earned her license of mathematical sciences. It was in the spring of that year that she met Pierre Curie. Marie initially refused Pierre's marriage proposal because she was set to return to Poland, but when she returned, Krakow University in Poland denied her of a position because she was a woman. Pierre later convinced her to return to Paris to pursue a PhD. Curie got his doctorate in March 1894, and later that year, the two would marry. In 1895, Wilhelm Röntgen discovered the existence of X-rays, but the mechanism behind the production was not yet understood. In 1896, Henri Becquerel discovered that uranium emitted rays that resembled X-rays in their penetrating power. Becquerel stated that the rays were not caused by electricity, but were emitted by the uranium itself. Curie was intrigued by these two discoveries and began her own research. Using an electrometer that Pierre and his brother developed, Marie discovered that the radiation of the sample depended only on the quantity, leading her to hypothesize that the radiation was not caused by interactions between molecules, but rather from the atoms themselves. A discovery that would help disprove the idea that atoms are indivisible. The Curies carried out their work in a leaky, poorly ventilated shed due to not having a proper laboratory. they were unaware of the dangers of radioactive elements at the time. Marie observed pitchblende, an ore that was mostly made of uranium, and she discovered that the ore was more radioactive than uranium itself. This led her to believe that there was an element in pitchblende that was even more radioactive than uranium. And she was right. In July of 1898, the Curies published a paper announcing the discovery of the element polonium, named after her homeland, and at the same time coined the term radioactive to describe it. Later in December of that same year, they discovered radium, another element that was even more radioactive than polonium. Between 1898 and 1902, the Curies published, jointly or separately, a total of 32 scientific papers, including one that announced that, when exposed to radium, diseased, tumor-forming cells were destroyed faster than healthy cells. They could have gotten rich from patenting radium, but they refused, stating that this belonged to everyone. In 1903, Pierre and Marie Curie and Becquerel received the Nobel Prize for Physics for their contribution to the discovery of radioactivity. Originally, only Pierre and Becquerel were supposed to receive the Nobel Prize, but Pierre complained, and Marie Curie became the first female Nobel Prize winner. In 1906, just after the birth of their second child, Pierre Curie was killed in a road accident. He was struck by a horse-drawn vehicle and fell under its wheels, fracturing his skull and killing him instantly. Marie was devastated by her husband's death. The next month, she was given her husband's position in the Sorbonne, becoming its first female professor. In 1911, Curie received yet another Nobel Prize, for chemistry this time, for the discovery of polonium and radium and the isolation of pure radium, becoming the first ever winner of 2 Nobel Prizes. And in 2 different fields, no less. Her contributions to humanity didn't end there. During World War I, Marie Curie, with the help of her daughter Irene, developed X-radiography. Curie, her daughter, and a team of women they trained used vehicles, became known as Petites Curies, to bring X-ray equipment to the wounded soldiers at the battlefield. In 1918, the Radium Institute, the staff of which Irene had joined, began to operate in earnest. And it was to become a universal center for nuclear physics and chemistry. Marie Curie, now at the height of her fame and, from 1922, a member of the Academy of Medicine, devoted her researches to the study of the chemistry of radioactive substances and the medical applications of these substances. In 1921, Marie Curie and her 2 daughters were invited to the US, where President Warren Harding offered her a gram of radium. She gave several lectures and was made a member of the International Commission on Intellectual Cooperation. Additionally, she headed the Curie Institute, formerly called the Radium Institute, where her sister Bronislawa became the rector. Unfortunately, her life of study dedicated to radiation backfired on her health. The damaging effects of radiation were not known to anyone of her time. She had done all her work without any protective equipment. She carried test tubes of radioactive isotopes in her pockets, giving remarks about their faint glow in the dark. Due to the dose of radiation she had received, she died of aplastic anemia on July 4, 1934. She was entered at the cemetery in Sceaux alongside her husband Pierre. 60 years later, in honor of her achievements, the remains of both were transferred to the Paris Pantheon. Their remains were so radioactive that they had to be encased in an almost 1-inch thick lead lining. The nature of her work was, in the end, the cause of her death. Because of their levels of radiation, you have to sign a waiver and wear protective equipment to even read the papers that she originally wrote. Marie Curie's story is that of determination. Just as impressive as her achievements is her ability to stand up against the society that held her back for being a woman. Curie's work has developed radiation into something that is now used to save lives. She helped shape the fields of physics, chemistry, and even medicine to what it is today.